Howdy folks, I'm Honest Holly, holistically healing hurt hyacinths.
I'm Amber.
And here are more hurt hyacinths for us to heal. I don't know why we're doing this, but apparently we are. Let's get started.
Would you just let the hyacinth suffer otherwise?
Well, I don't know how Holly is healing it.
Magically.
Oh, it's magic, Holly. All right, well, that makes a whole lot more sense. Let's get started. All right, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Returning My Husband's Christmas Present? My husband asked for a PS5 for Christmas, which was within the budget that we had agreed upon. I bought it along with 2 games. He knew what they were, so it was not a surprise. I asked for a gift certificate to a local day spa. When I saw a Black Friday sale on the package I had asked for, I let him know so that he could save some money. He hesitated at first and said that he didn't have the money at the moment, but if I would purchase the gift certificate for myself, he would pay me back with his next paycheck. Well, fast forward 3 weeks and 3 paychecks, and he has not made a move to reimburse me. Finally, last night, I asked if he was going to be able to reimburse me the $500 for the gift card this week. He said that he didn't know if/when he would be able to pay me back because he needed to save money to go with his friends on a weekend sky trip that he had planned for next weekend. To say that I was hurt was an understatement, so I returned his PS5 and the games this morning and I got my money back. Am I the jerk for doing that? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. If you have to buy your own Christmas present, he can buy his own too.
I mean, that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like he's trying to force her to buy her own Christmas present.
And it's clear he's not making paying her back a priority, because the guy trip is a luxury, not a need. Like it would be one thing if they had some kind of big emergency all of a sudden, like they had to replace a furnace or something. But it's clear that he is using the money for extraneous things and not prioritizing this gift for OP.
Well, I mean, I think that that's a really good point and a really good distinction to draw. This isn't an emergency where they just suddenly couldn't come up with the money. This was planned and meditated because he could have paid them back, but he decided not to. It makes me wonder what he was gonna get OP for a gift this holiday season anyways.
I mean, I think he would just pass it off as the gift certificate was her gift and he would pay her back eventually and she ends up paying for her own gift.
Well, I don't think. I mean, I think if she hadn't purchased,
Oh,
is what I was saying. Like, what was he planning on getting her?
something low budget, low effort, maybe like some like flowers from the grocery store or something.
And I mean, I think that it's probably better if OP found out now that
Mm-hmm.
she isn't getting the gift that she would want than later. And I mean, certainly, like, gift giving can be always a tricky subject, and certainly you shouldn't be giving gifts with the expectation that, oh, you're absolutely going to be given a gift in return. But there is kind of the expectation of reciprocation when it comes to gift giving and Christmas and the holidays.
Especially for your partner. Like your
Hmm.
partner should be a priority. And like it's one thing if the two people don't have different means. Like if you're not married, you don't have shared finances or anything, and you have different means. Yeah, you can't expect to get a gift that's on par. But the way he kind of like strung her along, because it sounds like he knew about this guy trip, and he just like kept telling her, "Oh, next paycheck, next paycheck, next paycheck." Like it really just makes it feel like she's not a priority for him. And I wonder if this is a consistent issue or if it's a one-off.
Yeah, I mean, the one piece of information that might change my mind is if it turned out that, like, OP is paying for nothing for the household and he's, like, shouldering all the expenses and stuff like that. That might make me change my mind on this type of situation. But with the information as given, it's hard for me to fault OP for this.
Well, and even in that case, it might at best be everyone's a jerk, but
Hmm.
like, I don't think that he can get off for the whole, oh yeah, I just have to go on this guy trip.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And MC Susie says, everyone's the jerk. You two cannot afford $500 Christmas presents. Why ruin your lives in order to play pretend? It's okay to be in a pickle, but you will get yourself in serious debt if you don't learn how to buy/give what you can afford. And OP replies, I can, apparently he can't. Separate bank accounts. I was also not the one that set the gift amount. Oh, interesting.
I mean, I think it's very clear he wanted a good gift and he doesn't care about what he gives OP in return. He just cares about getting spoiled.
Well, and that's why I was saying earlier. I wonder what he had planned on getting her before.
Yeah.
And Your So Money says, does he know that you returned it yet? And if so, how did he react? And OP replies, not yet. Hadn't decided how I was going to communicate it. It wasn't wrapped or anything, so he's currently unaware of my decision. And Fit Profession 1628 says, everyone's in the wrong. Why are you guys spending $1,000 in gifts if you're living paycheck to paycheck? And OP replies, I'm not. Apparently he is. We have a joint bank account for household bills, separate personal bank accounts for our own spending, and I wasn't the one that picked the number. And the real Zekchi says, this isn't just him. You picked a $500 spa package. Your husband didn't have the money for that. Own your choices. Right now, all you're giving each other for Christmas is resentment. Your problem is so much bigger than presents. Y'all need to figure out your life goals. Life, financial, and relationship. And Bacon Banana Pancake says, why does she bear the burden of owning her choices here? She even put in the legwork on finding a cheaper option, and he said that he would pay her back. How low is the bar? I mean, that's what I want to know. Like, I mean, I don't know that you can blame OP given
Mm-hmm.
the information that we currently have.
Right. I mean, if he set the gift limit, like, and she was assuming it was something that they could both comfortably afford, it's on him if he didn't clearly communicate, oh, yeah, I want a $500 gift and I'm going to give you a $20 thing I pick up at, the grocery store.
Mm-hmm. And the real Sashi says, because she's a grown adult, his behavior is terrible, but that doesn't mean her choices are better. They're both making bad choices. But she's acting like it's only him. She bought him a PS5 and agreed to a $500 spa package for herself. Meanwhile, there's also a trip to pay for. They can't afford any of it. These are two people who don't know how to communicate or budget or make smart choices together. And OP replies, let me clarify. I don't need the money for the PS5 back. Household bills are covered. No one is going to go cold or hungry. That's not the point. I was also unaware of this guy's trip. When I question it, it appears that it was decided on at least in the last 2 weeks, meaning that he made that choice himself after he told me that he would reimburse me. It's also not my trip to pay for. We do not pay for each other's guys/girls trips, and we do not pay for each other's hobbies. That is an agreement that we've had since dating/marriage. I'm not saying that this marriage is without issues. No one's is. Communication is obviously not a strong suit. My main issue and justification for the return is 1. An agreement of $500 limit of gifting was made near Halloween between two 43-year-old adults. Limit not mandatory to spend. 2. I asked him for gift ideas. He only said PS5. I purchased the gift. That was my choice. He asked for gift ideas for me. I gave him 3 ideas varying price and stated that my preference was for a spa gift certificate. Note that this place also offers generic gift cards for a set amount as stated on their website, so the $500 package was an option, not mandatory. That should not have been explicitly stated. 3. I mentioned a few weeks later that the business was running a Black Friday sale. Various things like the $500 package were discounted for 30% off, and if he hadn't shopped yet and was considering that as an option, he could save some money. That's when he asked me to purchase it and said that he would reimburse me. Did I say that he had to get me that exact one? No. I see now, obviously, that I should not have purchased my own gift. I also see that I misjudged the character of someone I have cared about, and that hurts. So by returning the PS5, I have removed the obligation of him repaying me, and maybe that's the gift for him. However, it does not absolve him from his behavior. All right, more information.
I mean, if OP is giving the full picture, then I am still sympathetic to OP's plight. It seems like she let him know when he's like, oh, yeah, go ahead and buy that. I'll pay you back. And how is she supposed to know he's not good for the money?
Well, that's it. It's like this seems like it would be very hard for OP to anticipate the him not paying her back. I mean, these two have been in a relationship for a while. I don't remember how long, but it seems like that he really is just not upholding his end of the deal here. Like, it was seems like they just made an agreement. Here, we're going to spend up to $500 on each other. And then she's like, "Oh, by the way, you're 30% off of this $500 package. You could save some money," which seems really reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Split, joint bank account for bills. Seems like they're splitting things fairly. I don't know. I would have to say that I don't think that Opie's in the wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for not including the entire family in a quilt that I made for my mother?" So a little while ago, it was my mother's birthday. I like to sew, so I thought that it would be a good idea to make her a quilt. I had the idea to make some of the squares from family photos. So I got some family pictures printed out onto fabric and I added them to the quilt. It had me, my siblings, and my parents. When I gave the quilt to my mother, she seemed happy at first, but then she looked at all of the photos. She looked disappointed, and then I questioned why, and she said that she was upset that I didn't include any photos of the dog. Now, a bit of information on the side. I have always had a phobia of dogs, which people never really got about me. We do have a dog in the house, but I chose to not acknowledge it or be around it. My mother knows very well my fear of them, but she treats this dog like it's her own son. She cooks it a meal every day, she gets it food at McDonald's, and gives it many presents during Christmas. And practically every framed photo in the house is of the dog rather than anyone else. Essentially, she treats it less like a dog and more like a human child, even calling it her youngest son. Since I don't like the family dog, for reasons that I won't dive into here, I chose not to incorporate it into the quilt. Also, since I don't have any photos of it on my phone anyways, and now my mother seems to really dislike the gift. I asked her if she didn't like the quilt, and she just sighed and said that it was cruel of me not to include her youngest in the quilt. I feel bad. Since I am moving away soon, I wanted to give her a nice handmade gift since I've done that before, but she seems so disappointed with it. I thought that the photos that I picked out were nice. Some were recent, but most of them were from many years ago before we even got the dog. My dad is telling me that it's perfectly fine that I didn't include the dog and that the quilt is still very nice, but my brother seems angry with me, saying that I can't just leave out a family member in a family-themed quilt. It's been around a week since it happened, and my mom has never once used or touched the quilt. I looked and found that she put it under her bed. I feel sad, but also a little guilty. I feel like a major jerk since I just wanted to make her happy. My mother also has been a bit more distant with me as well, so I'm scared that our relationship will be impacted by this. Edit, I feel like I should clarify some things. Looking through the replies, I see most people saying that I am the jerk. People seem to think that I deliberately left out the dog to upset my mother, and that I should have been more mindful of her feelings since this gift was a gift for her. She's had the dog for around 6 years now, and she has mentioned quite a few times that she values the dog's lives over her human children's lives. She also mentioned that in the case of a house fire, she would save the dog first and then go back and save her children. I've had this dog phobia since I was a kid, and it hasn't gotten better since the dog has been in the house. I'm not allowed to go to therapy either, so I was left with no resources to help me with this fear. It was especially bad since whenever I leave my room, my mother or brother would try to get the dog to chase and bark at me since they think it's funny. They still do that to this day. But back to the quilt situation. My mother has framed photos all around the house of her dog. She has maybe 2 photos of her human children, but around 12 photos of the dog. When making this quilt, yes, I did purposely exclude the dog. I did this partially because I felt that there had already been enough photos of the dog in the house, and partially because I wanted to give her something to remind her of her human children. The vast majority of the photos that I chose were taken with me and my siblings when they were young, so before we even got a dog. And no, I hate that I have to even say this, I don't harm dogs or wish harm upon dogs like some of you think. Edit 2, shortly after I woke up this morning, I went and tried to grab the quilt from under the bed in order to take some photos of it, but I couldn't find it. I asked my dad if he knew where it was, but he was just as clueless as I was. We searched a lot in the house, but couldn't find it. I'll update again if I find out what happened to it. Edit 3, I went outside and I checked the trash bin. I found the quilt there, slightly hidden under some of the other trash. I took it out of the trash and I tried to clean it up as best as I could, and now it's hidden in my room. I'm not really sure what to do with it now. All right, folks, what do you think of this?
Definitely not the jerk. And OP, I'm so sorry you're in this situation. It sounds like your mother is abusive. I mean, she knows this, the OP has this intense phobia of dog and thinks it's funny to make a dog chase them and bark at them. Like, that is just really, really horrible behavior. Like, I don't understand why she even had human children if she just wants to baby this dog all the time.
Yeah, I mean, this is a challenging situation in the respect that, like, I think that OP could have anticipated that their mother would have been disappointed without photos of the dog, especially given the arrangement of the house. But I think that OP was trying to make a gift from the heart, and I think that they really worked towards doing that. I think they would have been better off just making a plain quilt without any pictures if they were really, wanting to do a handmade gift for their mother. That way, there wouldn't have been this perception of, leaving or excluding the dog. And again, like what OP says is that they used a lot of pictures from when they were little, so that there weren't going to be any pictures of, the dog during those times anyways. So I think they were hoping that that would be able to circumvent that. But given how much the mother cares about the dog, I I think that OP probably should have anticipated her reaction to some degree.
Yeah, but it just shows that she's a bad person.
Oh, I'm not saying disagreeing with you there. I mean, I think that she's not a great mother. I mean, she's willingly admitted that she would leave her children to die in a house fire over her dog. I mean, I don't think that any animal deserves to, burn in a house fire, but certainly, like, if I had to make a choice like that, and it's a strange child or, a pet of mine, I would probably pick the child over the pet. I mean, as hard of a decision as that would be, it would be, I feel like, the right decision to make. I don't know. It's a. I feel like she's not a great mother.
She's not a good mother, and you shouldn't have to put your like phobia on a quilt to appease your mother. Like,
Hmm.
I think the problem isn't with OP and the gift. The problem is that the mother is an abusive person
Yeah.
and not a good person, and not
Hmm.
someone OP should need to appease.
No, no, no.
And honestly, why hasn't the father stepped up and put a stop to the mother's abuse?
And I mean, I think those are all really good points. I think this is just a bad situation, and I think that OP would be best to get out of here as soon as possible. And if they want to know what to do with the quilt, keep it as a reminder of your family. I mean, you're going away, and now you have a quilt to keep you company. And maybe remember happier times when there wasn't the dog in the picture, tormenting you. But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. And Jenny Cillian says, not the jerk, take back the quilt that you made with loving hands that she didn't appreciate and move out. And Opie replies, I was thinking of regifting it to my father since he seemed to really like the quilt. And Fickle Toe 1724 says, good idea, he will appreciate it. I would caution against that.
Yeah, if they share a bed, then the mom might take it and like throw it out.
Yeah, I'm afraid that she probably would end up tossing it, and I don't think that that will do anyone any good. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Which Christmas song is most beloved by miniature mischief makers?
Oh, which gift is most beloved by
Song.
most song? I would imagine the song would be the Gremlins theme song.
There's no place like home for the holidays.
There is no place like home for the holidays.
And I decided to make up this joke because Violent Advent is available now. I forgot to mention this on Thursday, but yeah, it's available in paperback and ebook. And there also are individual story books available. So if you just want to read my story, there's an ebook version of the story itself. And you can find all the different ones if you just type Violent Advents into Amazon. And Brian can probably add a link too for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's already if you go to the community page on YouTube, you'll find that there's a Violence Advent link there to both the book and to Amber's individual story.
And the proceeds from all the different forms all go to the American Heart Association and British Heart Foundation. So, if you do buy a copy, your money will be going to a good cause.
And I have the special guest tea. It's matcha. Poor Mary was guessing matcha throughout the week, so I hope she got it this time around. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a great start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on gifts.
Don't offer to buy gifts you can't afford.
I think that is solid advice, especially going into the holiday season. Remember, folks, the holiday should be about being together with people. It doesn't matter the price tag on the gift. What matters more is that you spend time with loved ones. So don't overdo your finances if you can't afford it. People will understand. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Howdy, folks. I'm Honest Holly. Honest? Howdy, folks. I'm honest. I did say it right. Honest. Honest Holly. Howdy, folks. I'm Honest Holly.